Okay.
That is funny. You're so right.
Do your regular intro.
Okay.
Because people will be watching the replay.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Daniela. This is Quenby, and I'm so excited to finally be talking to Quenby. We've been planning this for like 3 months, probably. But life just hasn't cooperated. So I'm a part-time reseller. I sell on Poshmark and eBay. And, you know, this YouTube thing is new to me. This is a new gig for me. I have a podcast with Lori Tata, who will be joining us shortly, called Thrifters Villa. And yeah, I just like to talk about reselling and life and lifestyle and family and just about everything you can imagine. So Quenby, why don't you introduce yourself? I'm sure everyone knows who you are, but...
Probably not. Hi, everybody. I'm Quenby, the Grateful Queen, here on YouTube and Instagram and social media. I, like Danielle, I'm a part-time reseller. I've been reselling for 9 years. I know it's almost 9 years because my son, Torvald, who some of our viewers will know because he makes appearances in my videos, is turning 9 in 2 weeks. So it's been 9 years of reselling. It's a part-time gig, and right now I sell on eBay and Poshmark, and it's something I absolutely love. I love working for myself. I love working at home. I like the extra income. It's just a gig I really love. So that's kind of what my channel at The Grateful Queen is all about.
Yeah, I think it's so nice to be a part-time reseller because we have our like full-time, like our business side, right? Like it's who we are. And then we have this other side of us that we get to run things ourselves and we get to work for ourselves and we get to just have fun. Like to me, reselling is fun. That's like my time to do stuff that I enjoy. And I make my rules and I love that.
Yeah. I often wonder, Daniela, and I think it'd be a cool thing to actually explore a little bit because I think there are some real differences being part-time reseller versus full-time. I mean, I often say to people like, I think because I'm a part-timer, I'm getting all these notifications pop up. One just said Daniela's going live. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm here.
We're right here.
Being a part-timer, I do rely on the income. It's part of my budget, and I run my reselling business as a business. However, I'm in the privileged position of not relying on it for my income 100%.
Right.
And that's a very different thing.
That off too. Like, so the last 3 months have been really slow for me in terms of reselling and that income that's coming in. And I've definitely felt it because I use that reselling money to pay bills, that's like my extra money that I can just put aside and do what I want with it. And I don't have it right now. Like it's very minimal compared to how it was a few months ago before the whole pandemic and everything. So yeah, even though it's part-time and I have a full-time income that's coming in, I still feel it that it's not the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the money coming. I do it as a business for the money, but I think there are some things that I get to do as a part-time reseller that I might do differently if I was full-time and just totally relying on that. I think I'd make a lot of different choices.
Different business.
Yeah. Let's say hi to a few friends I see coming in.
I know. Let's see. Leslie's here. Of course, Leslie's here. Lisette is here.
Yay.
So many friends. Hello. I don't know. Leslie told me to make her a moderator, and I have no idea how to do that, Leslie. Try clicking on the 3 buttons.
On it.
It doesn't let me. I don't know why. It just says block user, which I don't want to do.
No, we definitely don't want to do that.
I want to block Leslie.
There's usually a few little dots on the side, and it'll.
Yeah, when I click on it, it tells me if I want to block or time out the user.
All right. Well, I can explain it to you after, like how to do it, not in the moment, but that's okay.
So today we're literally just going to sit down and talk about whatever we really feel like talking about. So I figured we'd start off by talking about how the pandemic has kind of changed the way that we resell and maybe the way that we source and things that we've noticed as stores are reopening and just things are changing, right? Things aren't the way that they were. And I'm just curious to see how it is on the West Coast, because I know on the East Coast, we're moving at a different pace than you guys. So,
well, it depends because, so for people who don't know, I'm in Northern California. I am 1 hour north of San Francisco, but California is a huge state. It's long, it runs up the coast. And the reason I point that out is because a lot of times I'll say to people, I'm from California, and they just assume like it's all the same, but it's completely different. I mean, Southern California and Northern California are really different. And if I was going to, let's say, just to give you some perspective, say I was going to drive down to LA, that's a 6 or 8 hour drive. It's not like little tiny states like on the East Coast. Danielle is in Rhode Island. That's one of the reasons I think I connect you so much, because I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Massachusetts, the Boston area. So I can speak to both. I can speak to selling both. What do you, I can speak to shopping in both Massachusetts, New England area, and also on the West Coast. But right now, things aren't moving fast. I feel like I'm the one person, Danielle, who does not have the Goodwill. Nothing's open yet. Nothing.
Really?
Zero. Are you? I mean, nothing. Zero.
We're going into phase 3 in like 2 weeks, which is crazy. Oh, it's absolutely crazy to me that we're going into phase 3 in 2 weeks. I don't necessarily agree with that. But the cases have been low for right now. I don't know if that will change. 4th of July is coming. Everyone's going to the beach. This is New England. This is what people do in the summertime. They go to Newport. They go to the Cape. Like, this is just what we do around here. So it'll be interesting to see how the cases change as the weeks go on, and if we have to revert back to maybe phase 1 or phase 2. I don't know. But the stores are very strict. You know, you have to wait in line outside. They're only allowed a certain amount of people in the store. You have to wear a mask. If you don't have a mask on, they kick you out. You know, there are really strict guidelines put in place. I feel safe going into the stores. There have been instances where people are refusing to wear masks when they go in stores, and it causes a little bit of a disturbance.
Oh my God, to me, see, I just think that's so East Coast. That just, to me, I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, you guys, and I've lived in California, Northern California for, God, almost 20 years now. But to me, I think that's like so East Coast. I cannot imagine someone in California being like, no, I'm not putting my mask on. But I could totally picture, like, when I go home every summer, I come to New England, I could totally picture people being like, I'm not putting a mask on.
It's so humid out. I'm not putting it on, like the typical East Coast excuse. It's really hot and humid. I'm not putting it on, and I'm sweating. So, I mean, it's true. There is a lot of personality differences with that. So that's been interesting. But our thrift stores are open, and the prices are just astronomical.
Yeah.
They're crazy, and the stuff that's coming out isn't like, it's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not anything that like, oh, I'm so excited. Now, they are holding inventory for 2+ weeks. So that could be why.
That's probably what it is.
They're slowly maybe putting it out. I don't know. But
what was it like before? Like, what, like, so give me an example. Like, for me, I don't shop at the Goodwill in my area.
Yeah, I don't shop at the
other thrift stores, because at the Goodwill in my area, just to put it in perspective, because everybody's, I know it's different. Jeans are $10, a dress is $10, a short sleeve t-shirt, anything short sleeve is $6.99, a blazer is $9.99, and then and they don't have sales, so those are the prices. And then they also mark up anything that they think is like, you know, designer, or they think is better. So that's what I'm dealing with. What's it like there where you are price-wise normally?
That's similar to Savers prices, what you just said.
Really?
Very similar. So I only have one Goodwill that's near me, but it's very small. It's about 25 minutes away, and the inventory is not great there. Like, it's really hit or miss. So for me to drive the 30 minutes to then maybe be able to find something, like, it's not worth it to me. So I really only go to Salvation Army and Savers. Those are the only places that I go to. But the Savers, I mean, the dresses now are starting from $10 up to like $22, $24, which is crazy.
I don't understand. And some people's Goodwill have sales. Like, okay, I understand they mark things up because it's going to be 50% off day on Sunday. We don't have anything like that. So there's no way to, like.
I have no idea what the Goodwill, like, I don't know what the prices are at the Goodwill. I've only been to the Goodwill in New Hampshire and the one in Boston. You
go to Savers, and then are you a bins girl?
Once in a while. I'm not a big, so there's the Boston bins, which I've only been to a few times, but I'm not a huge fan of it, just because they're really deep bins, so you really have to, like, put your whole body into it in order to grab everything.
Painful, yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of that. I go to the New Hampshire bins. Those are, like, they're really chill, they're really mellow, they're more my vibe. But it's not anything spectacular, you know. It's okay.
So where's your best sourcing? Where's your best
Savers and Salvation Army?
Salvation Army.
And Poshmark.
And you source off Poshmark.
That's new, though. That's since the pandemic. that I've really like dove in and really researched and learned like the ins and outs on how to do that. So yeah, I'm liking the sourcing on Poshmark. I'm able to get brands that I really want in my closet, bring the attention to my closet, and I'm flipping at a higher price point. So there's a lot of pros to it. There's a lot of cons. I gotta pay for shipping every time that I want something.
Yeah.
So unless I can get a really great deal in a bundle, I'm paying that $7.11 unless they're sending me an offer. So, you know, it has its perks, but
yeah. I mean, I'd say that's my experience too. I did see Lori come into the chat.
Hi, Lori.
I can see the chat, but I can't do anything with it. Lori says, I miss the East Coast attitude when I lived in San Francisco. Now I miss the East Coast.
There we go.
You got the comment on the screen. You're like a pro. It's first time. Isn't she doing so great? She was so casual about her first live. She's like, yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know. It's probably going to work out.
I don't plan things. I just do it.
I love that.
Do it. I source. So here is so Leslie's saying she sources off of Poshmark on occasion. I only did it once, like maybe once every couple of months, but the past 2 months, it's been my main place. It's my jam right now.
How do you, because I shop for myself on Poshmark a lot, but I don't shop trying to keep my cost of goods low enough to resell. What's your strategy? Are you like buying high end stuff that you know you can flip for a lot, or are you trying to bundle up a ton from one person's closet? Like, how do you make it work for that $7 shipping?
I try to bundle from someone's closet. So like I'll search, I don't know, like my best sellers like Madewell, Everlane, Levi's, and I'll throw in like Aritzia or brands like that in there too if I can find it. It really depends what the person has in their closet. So those types of, like the Everlane, you can find them here, but it's not something that comes up often, right?
Yeah. You have to click the thing again to get it off the screen. Otherwise, it just hangs out there. Just FYI. It turns blue in the live, and then you click it again. Otherwise, the comment. There you go. I have so much to say. Like, Levi's is one of your best-selling brands?
I don't do best-selling. Like, I just go by brands that sell well for me, and that's what I search.
For you, Levi's is one of the best sellers? Like, just denim jeans?
Well, it has to be like the wedgie jean, the wedgie skinny, or the rib cage. You know, the ones that people typically mention. Those are the ones that sell the best. But Everlane, anything Everlane.
Yeah. Well. I never find Everlane. I mean, I don't say never because I found it a handful of times, but when I find it, I'm like, ooh, yeah, and it's sold so well. I sold for almost $100. I found a gray Everlane cashmere cardigan. I sold it on Poshmark. It had a ton of interest, and then it finally sold, and I was like, wow, it was so nice. And I think I found 2 or 3 pairs of pants, like some high-waisted pixie pants, but I don't find it. I wonder who finds that a lot, like where?
You can find it in Boston more so than here in Rhode Island. I can find it here, but it's on occasion. I can find more Madewell here. I definitely find more Madewell. I find a lot of Revolve brands here. I don't know a lot of Revolve brands though, so it's more of like, oh, this tag looks fancy. Let's look it up. Like that's my strategy because I don't know the wall. I don't shop on Revolve, so I don't know. What does Revolve?
I've never found anything that I'm aware of. I don't know if I'd pick it up if I did, because from my understanding of Revolve is it's like a young woman's. And it's really kind of minis and half shirts and like sexy, young, probably like 20-year-old. And I get a lot of it in my ThredUp boxes. That's why I'm starting to recognize the brands. I'm like, I get a bunch of my ThredUp rescue boxes.
So what type of brands do you typically find when you go to the thrift store then?
Okay. So as I said, I'm in Northern California. So I'm an hour north of San Francisco. Okay. I mean, San Francisco is a very wealthy area. It's a metropolitan area. People from all over the world are there. There's like, people spend a lot of money on their clothes in San Francisco. I don't drive over an hour to San Francisco to source. I probably could for like a thrifting road trip, but I don't because I have so much here. I'm in Santa Rosa. It's a city of like 200,000 people. It's a pretty good sized city. And the Salvation Army is also my favorite just because this particular Salvation Army gets their inventory from San Francisco. Most of it, they do all their pricing down there, and it comes up from San Francisco.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa, but their prices are really high. I put out some videos, like when I do my Thrift With Me videos and I take you into the store and stuff, and you're flipping through the racks, just to show people. I'm like, here we go. Let's go through the dress section. $25, $35 for like Banana Republic, whatever.
Salvation Army?
At Salvation Army, they mark everything up. They don't, at my Salvation Army, they don't have the flat rate pricing like they do at Goodwill. Everything has a tag on it, an individual tag.
So
and it's like,
my Salvation Army is the same. There's individual tags, but they just changed their policies. They have 2 colors that are half off, and then they have 1 color that's 99 cents. And then there's 2 incoming colors. So those, let's say they're pink and yellow, those will be regular price, and then everything else would be 50% off or 99 cents. That's new.
I love your accent. I could just listen to you talk. Like, you could just talk to me about thrifting, and it feels like home to me, the accent. I love it so much. Oh, look at Jennifer Quinn is here, and she has a Q name like my name, Quenby, so I always notice that.
Jennifer Quinn is a wonderful friend of mine. Maybe
she'll be a wonderful friend of mine soon.
Yes, she will. So she is the Savvy Outfitter on Instagram.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes.
Being a West Coast girl living on the East Coast, and I'm the opposite. I'm an East Coast girl living on the West Coast. I always thought it'd be so fun if I married someone whose last name was like Quinn or something, so I could be like Quenby Quinn.
Oh, that would be fun.
That'd be cute, like a double Q.
So I know around here, so you don't have any stores that are open. So like you have Nordstrom Rack around you. That's not open. Nothing at all.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked to see if like
TJ Maxx.
Like, I haven't looked to see if those are open. I'm just waiting for the thrift stores. So actually, it could be that as of Saturday, we got like the next level of things opening. It could be that TJ Maxx and stuff open, but I didn't even look. I'm just waiting for the thrift stores, and none of them are open.
So I think you should go check out the retail stores right now if they're open. They're 50 to 60, 70% off on items. New attack. So that's what I did. And that's why I know, like, Jen just did it. Lori's done it. A few of us around here have done that and been able to score some really great items. But you need to factor in the price, because even though it is 50 or 60% off, you're still paying more than the thrift store pricing. So you really need to make sure that whatever you're buying is worth it.
Right. I do some retail arbitrage, but it's usually like when TJ Maxx has their yellow tag clearance sale. I've done amazing on that. Or like clearance, when they're having a clearance on the clearance is when I'll do retail arbitrage, because I don't like to pay more than like $10 for something, you know.
I'm the same way. It's so hard for me to pay more than that. I feel like I don't know. I'm doing it wrong or something. Like, it shouldn't be more than $10. It just it messes with me.
I know, even though logically it's like, yeah, but you can probably sell it for 50 or 60, so spend the 10. I'm like, oh no, I'm like a $5 girl. Like,
I'm the same way. And then I'll message different people. I'm like, hey, is this a good deal? Should I do this? And they're like, yeah, you're gonna quadruple your money. I'm like, yeah, but it's $15.99. I don't know. It's
last year I just stopped in Ross, which is not even a place. Do you guys have Ross, ROSS?
No, so just Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Burlington Coat Factory. Those are the 3 we have.
I remember Burlington Coat. Anyway, so we have one called Ross that's like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I think it might be like one step down actually, but it was near my nail salon, and I don't know why. I'm like, I'm just gonna go check it out. And I did an entire retail arbitrage haul. This is probably like 9 months ago. Eileen Fisher. Have you ever seen Eileen Fisher at like TJ Maxx and Ross, Marshalls? You have? I never see it.
Yeah. It's in like the runway section. It's in like the fancy section of TJ Maxx.
Oh, I've never seen it I've never seen Eileen Fisher.
Really?
And I got like all their linen sweaters, and I've been slowly selling that stuff off in like the 40 to 80 and stuff. I got some coats, and I paid like 15 to 20 for that stuff.
Yeah. But Eileen Fisher, I feel like if it's a good linen piece, a good cotton piece, you're going to sell it. It just has to go to the right buyer. Eileen Fisher's a very specific buyer. And I feel like a lot of brands are like that. Like, there are certain brands where anyone will buy it, like J. Crew, Madewell, like that whole Anthropology, like anyone will buy those. But an Eileen Fisher piece or, I don't know, a Mara Hoffman piece, like anything like that is very specific, whoever's purchasing that.
Who do you think's the purchaser of something like Eileen Fisher? Who do you think what's the demographic, do you think?
I think of like a New Yorker, like a woman in her 40s, 50s, businesswoman, very well put together, comfortable, but still wants to look professional. Because Eileen Fisher pieces are very like the whole lagging look, right? Like that's
very simple, very classic, simple lines.
But fits every body type, which is important, right? As a woman, you want it to fit your body. You want to make sure that it fits in the right places. And that's what Eileen Fisher reminds me of. It's comfortable, it's airy, it's and it's simple.
Yeah, I like that about simple, it. But like those pieces, the stuff I got, $250 for like a tunic top. The original new price was on there, was organic linen stuff. That's what I think it is. And always, like with most things, but also Eileen Fisher for sure, like the bigger sizes. Like I would pay up for the bigger sizes. I don't even get, honestly, I sometimes pass by on like a small, medium, even sometimes I just keep flipping those racks because this doesn't do that much for me. Not like it used to.
I'm noticing that too. So I'm trying to be more attentive to what sizes I'm picking up when I'm in the thrift store. And I'm not just necessarily looking at, okay, this is a really great brand that sells well for me, but it's an extra small and I have about 18 extra smalls.
I know.
So I need to leave it, even though it's a good price.
It's hard. So hard. It's hard. So I just put it in my cart, make myself walk around the store and consider. And it's like, what I do is I'm like, do you want to add this to your small women's tops bin? Because I still have all my bins organized by like what they are, not a number letter system like I should. But it's like that women's small tops bin or small dresses. My small dresses bin is like overflowing. I'm like pushing it down.
Dresses large, for you? Like, totally changing the topic, but do dresses sell for you?
Like usually in the summer, I like having a lot of dresses in the summer. There's like a few month window where I feel like I move through those. Career dresses too. A career dress, like a Calvin Klein career dress, that'll sell.
I have to say that speaking of Calvin Klein, people should not skip on Calvin Klein because people will pay up for Calvin Klein. They like it. It's like a career piece, a blazer, a dress, a skirt, something that's very professional. Like those are the Calvin Klein pieces that sell, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's I don't usually pick it up. I will sometimes pick it up in men's. I will pick up like I just sold it for $25 yesterday. Like just a gray Calvin Klein sheath dress, just a fitted total career dress, $25. I got it in a thread up box. I'll do some career, but it's not something I like go out of my way and look for.
Yeah,
I usually pass it. What sells for you in Calvin Klein? Do you notice
the dresses and the blazers?
The blazers, yeah.
The blazers. I love selling blazers. That's the section that I always check when I go to any thrift store, anywhere that I go. I always look at the blazers, and maybe it's because of where I work and it's just what I wear and all that, so I don't really have a lot of casual clothes. Like my casual clothes consist of leggings. I hope.
Who's hope? Is that Rags to Riches?
Rags to Riches, yes.
Oh, I love it. I'll get to know some new people.
Yes, that is hope.
We saw Jennifer Quinn come in, and I just want to make sure we didn't miss anyone. Glow Girl Glow came in. I saw her on Leslie's channel, Reseller Fashion. She's really cool.
We're not ignoring you guys. It's just Quenby and I could talk for about 4 hours to each other.
I know. I'm the worst. I know. I could just go, On Hanger Deals is here. Good friends, thank you so much and Christy Blocker made it. Hey, she comes a lot to my live at 5 on Friday nights. Always great to have her. I have
missed your last 2 or 3 lives.
Where have you been?
I know. It's just being a bad friend.
No, there's no way to make it. The landscape of YouTube has changed. I've only been on it a year, so I can't really speak to long term. But when I started my live, it was like, someone had said do a live. A mentor of mine, do it. I think it was Denali. She's like, you should do a live. I'm like, I don't know. There was like not much happening, 6 months ago? And now it's fantastic. There's so many lives and I try to get to everybody's and it's a challenge now because there's one every night.
I was just saying that to Leslie. There are just so many lives. It doesn't matter when you schedule it. Someone else will be live at the same time.
I know. I try really hard though. I try really hard because there's a crew of us that love to show up to them. And it's like, I really try, like I'll make mine some odd hour rather than schedule it if I know somebody else, but it's true. I love it. I'm so glad. It's been the best thing.
I like it. I probably do these more often. I like to just sit and talk anyway. So why not?
What I love about your podcast with Lori, I mean, I love the podcast because when I listen, sometimes when I go out walking, I'll listen to a podcast and it's like, you guys are just chatting. I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, everyone says that. And that was the goal of the podcast, was you literally sitting down with us and having a conversation. That was the whole goal. We didn't want it to be too formal. We didn't want it to be stuffy or anything. It's just who we are. So we just sit down and we talk. And there's so much conversation that goes on before and after that we don't record. Obviously, I mean, when we record the podcast, it's like a 3-hour process because we're just talking the entire time.
Right.
But it's fun, and we have a lot of fun. We get to meet different people and we get to share our experiences. And it seems like people are really responding to it and they really like it. So that's good. So thank you to everyone who listens, subscribes, and all that fun stuff. We're trying to make it fun and unique and different and just give different perspective to what's going on out there in the reselling world.
I mean, for me personally, when I say my channel's a year old, my Instagram's even less than that. Like, I had no idea this existed. Like, I had been selling in isolation for like 9 years. I didn't know. I mean, I had a hunch other people probably did it, reselling, but I'd never had a reselling friend or, if I'd go to the bins or thrifting, there'd be people that I'd see regularly. I'm like, I bet they're reselling, but I had no idea there was such a great network. I'd never been to a posh event of any kind or eBay Open or anything. So I've really just plugged in the last year and it's been amazing.
Yeah. So I've been reselling since I was 16. But never in the capacity that I have in the last year, because I didn't know it as reselling. I just knew it as me flipping items to make money to then do whatever I wanted with it, right? Whether it was pay something off or buy something new or whatever it was. So when I actually changed it over to more of a business aspect, I was talking to one of my good friends, Jill, about it, and she had been doing it for about a year. So she kind of introduced me to the ins and outs of the reselling community. And she already had an Instagram for reselling. So she's like, you should just go on. You'll get to see some people, you'll get to see what some of the big time resellers are doing. And that's how it started. And then it's kind of just snowballed into this crazy thing the last year where now I have over 4,000 followers. And it's like, wow, 4,000 of you care what I have to say. That's cool. Like, the more the merrier. Just a little girl from Rhode Island, but okay, but it's fun. I get to meet different people and it's just, I like to hear different experiences because East Coast and West Coast is very different, as is the North and South and the Midwest to the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's so different. And I've noticed even in terms of pricing, when I posted a story about the different prices that are going on here, and some people from New York City have actually messaged me and they're like, those are our prices all the time. So I can't, it's interesting to me because they're only 4 hours away. They're not that far from me and their prices are always like this.
Mm-hmm. So but they find amazing stuff like, people that are thrifting like in New York City find like the amazing stuff. They're selling much higher end stuff. I'm kind of flipping like mostly bread and butter stuff and occasionally a special designer piece if I find it or something. But
you did the donations from Nextdoor, right? So why don't you kind of talk about that whole process?
I did one time when stay at home first started and everyone was like, what? Like nothing's open. Where am I going to get inventory? I'm home. I want a list. Mm-hmm. And everyone was talking about it on Instagram, like getting stuff from neighbors or whatever. And I felt really uncomfortable with it. I was actually pretty late to the game because I couldn't figure out how to do the ask. Like I felt uncomfortable with basically saying, hey, can you give me your stuff for free so that I can sell it and make money? Like I could not figure that. I was like, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. But the more I started looking into it, I found somebody on Instagram just sent me a Photoshop of like a post that she had put on Nextdoor. And she gave me the languaging, which was basically like, I'm a reseller. My business depends on me going thrifting to buy things in order to sell. Nothing's open. I'd be happy to take any donations or buy things from you that in order to keep my business going. It was something like that. And I was like, okay, I felt so much better once I was like, I'd be willing to buy it. I'd be willing to pick up the stuff because you can't take it anywhere to drop it off. So you've got bags of stuff sitting in your garage that you're planning on donating to Goodwill, but you can't. So it's just sitting there. People are like, they wanted to get rid of that stuff. So I did put one post out on the Nextdoor app, and I got a number of responses, and I did go pick up a few different times. And, with like mixed results, I guess I'd say. It's kind of what you might expect in my experience. I know it's probably different for everybody, but it was a lot of stuff. I'd say at least 50% I couldn't do anything with.
Yeah.
Like it was really not in good shape or didn't have any value. I got a lot of like things that you shouldn't even donate. You know what I mean? Like it's more like, so it was a lot of work to sort through all that. Most of it I couldn't use. However, the good parts was it was free. The good parts was it got me listing a lot of brands and styles I never would have picked up. And that stuff sold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like in the $12, $15 range instead of like my goal is usually like $20. I like to make like $20 is ideal for me. More sure, but that's where I like to, around $20. But I learned a lot of that Forever 21 stuff and American Eagle stuff and mall stuff. It sold. I sold a lot of it. I lauded it. What?
I said people look for it.
They know it. They're comfortable with it. It's like they don't know a lot about like higher end stuff sometimes. So they're just putting in what they know from the mall. So if you're okay flipping things in that range, a lot of it sold. I got a ton of baby stuff, which I wasn't expecting. And so for like months, I was just listing lots of baby stuff and that stuff sold really well. Again, like in the $20 range. I got one woman who was like a much older woman and all her stuff was size XL and it was brands like, from Kohl's or like Sonoma brand or that kind of stuff. But that stuff sold too because XL, anything sells awesome for me.
Yes, it does. Some people won't pick up plus size. So like me personally, I'm like a size 14, 16. That's where I sit normally. So I'm like an extra large 0X, 1X kind of girl. And I look for that stuff on Poshmark and it's really hard to find. So I try to make a conscious effort when I'm sourcing to try to pick up some stuff like that to have in my closet as well, because people are looking for it. All sizes are looking, right?
Right.
Do you think you'll keep picking up baby clothes now that you've...
Someone asked me that. Someone asked me that and it's like, oh, Girly Girl Styles here. Yay. Hey, Tori. Good to see you. I'm probably, but I think I'll know a little bit more now. So, I have not been a huge binge shopper. I'm going to give it, when all this stuff calms down and things open, months from now, I'm going to give it another shot because I know I need to keep my cost of goods down and it's hard to do where I live. So I'm going to give the bins another shot. And I think if I see the baby stuff at the bins, I'll pick it up because it's going to be cheap. And I'll pick up things like Disney does, like the Disney stuff flew out of here. Like I had no idea about that. Disney baby.
Yeah.
Disney baby clothes with Minnie Mouse on it or any, I was like, people wanted that stuff. I lauded a bunch up, sold it for $20, $25 a lot. That stuff's almost all gone. And like Baby Gap's always done really well. And I've always picked up kids or babies if it's a really good name brand, like Minnie Bowden or something, or Ralph Lauren. I've always picked that up if I can flip it for like $15. Why not? But like the quantity, maybe I'll do if it's those certain brands and if it's at the bins and it's super cheap. Or yard sales. Have you guys had yard sales? Are yard sales coming?
I think they're happening, but I've never gone to a yard sale.
Wait a minute.
I know.
What do you mean you've never gone? You mean in your life you've...
No, I've never gone to a yard sale, no.
How have you... Is it a conscious choice? Like, I don't like yard sales?
I've just never gone. I've just never done it.
You mean you're driving by and you see a yard sale and you don't pull over?
Nope.
Is there something that goes through your mind like yard sales are gross or a waste of my time?
Nope. I just have never done it, so I've never experienced it. So I think psychologically it doesn't, like, nothing's triggered. You know what I mean? It's just, oh, it's
you've been since a teenager and you've never been to a yard sale. Oh my God, I cannot wait.
I would challenge you because we'll go together.
I don't know if I'm going home this year. I was kind of hoping I'd see Lori maybe. I don't know.
Yard sales stress me out. That might be what it is for me because Tori and I are on the same page. Like we have the same vibe going on. So that might be what it is. I don't know.
Really? I mean, that's curious to me. I love it. I would be so curious to know more. Deborah says, I love yard sales and estate sales. I love them. I mean, I'm trying to think why I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go because sometimes they're wasted time. Like if I go yard sailing on a Saturday, we get Torval, we get Peter, we get the truck, we go out, you know, we probably go to 10 yard sales and maybe 7 of them don't have anything I want, but there might be 3 where it's like everything's 25 cents. I also, I like to shop for decor for my house, like antique and vintage stuff. So I find a lot of that stuff there.
Yeah, Lori. I've never gone. I don't know. It's not something that I did as a kid, so maybe that's why. It's just not something that we ever did.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. You should do a first time yard sale and do a vlog and everything. And be like, maybe challenge me. I've never been to a yard sale. I have no idea what I'm doing. Take the camera and I want to see what happens.
It'll be interesting. I know there's an app that you can download and you can see like where all the different yard sales are and stuff. I don't know. I'll do it. I would like, one thing I do want to do is go to an estate sale because I haven't done that yet. But estate sales and
estate sales are weirder for me. Estate sales are weirder for me because oftentimes in estate sales, because someone died, and I just get creeped out at estate sales. I still go because it's a great opportunity to get cheap stuff, to get vintage antique stuff, which I like. But it's like, usually it's like the person's house. You're walking through like their closets, their clothes are still hanging there. It's like, it looks like the person lived there and they died usually. So you're just going through their stuff. It's a little bit weird. I always feel a little weird at estate sales.
Do you see the guest appearance by a cat?
Oh yeah, we might. Torvald was maybe going to make a guest. Oh, hey, little furry friend. Oh my God.
Marco. He comes in every video.
He does. So cute. Wait, I want to read this comment from Tori. Says, I'm a people pleaser, so I always feel bad if I don't buy anything. Oh yeah, I have that sometimes too. I just don't make eye contact. Like, I just go in, I look, I don't make any eye contact.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go. I don't know. We'll see. I'll put on the list of things to do.
Check it out. I mean, that's what I tell everyone about the bins too. When people say to me, like, I'm scared of the bins, I'm scared of the outlet. I've heard so many stories. I'm like, you know what? Just check it out a couple times. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but you can try it because it could be awesome. Leslie's saying Thomas sells at a flea market. You can find the best stuff there. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I grew up going to all that stuff too, though.
Yeah, see, I never did. So I don't.
Christy's saying at yard sales, I try to be the last person because they want to give it away. I've had that experience where I drive by and they're starting to pick up and I'm like, oh, do you have any clothes? I once had someone be like, yeah, we're bringing it all to the Goodwill. Do you want it? I'm like, okay. So I just took the bags of this. They didn't even want any money. They were so tired and done. Like, and there wasn't a ton of great stuff in there, but this was back when LuLaRoe was more popular and there was a bunch of LuLaRoe in there. And I was like, wow. It's kind of like when I got the free stuff from people, it's kind of a win-win. They're so happy to get rid of it and we're so happy to get it.
Yeah.
So it works out.
Definitely go late to garage or yard sales. People want to give things away by then. That's a good tip.
Yeah. Or you got to be there first because that's when all the good stuff is. It just depends what they have or what's going on.
Hope. I don't go either because I like sleeping in and don't like being in the hot sun. I mean, I don't like being in the heat either, so that's probably a big deterrent for me.
Yeah, you gotta go in the morning. I mean, it's usually like a morning thing. And where I live, it's like people are done with their yard sales by 1 or 2. It's like 9 to 1 or something like that. So if you like
yard sale. What's a community yard sale? Explain. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what she means, but I know like around me, it'll be like a block sale and you'll get notifications like, oh, and so it'll be like 5 or 6 houses all in the same street or neighborhood doing one. People here call that a community. Those are fun. I like when the older people places, I don't know what to call those. You know what I mean? Like the residences for older people where they all have like older people communities. They often have great stuff and they want to chat. And I love getting out in my community and being like, chatting with them. They're so happy to just like chat and tell you stories. Sometimes they have great art or great books if you like that kind of stuff.
I'd like to try like one of those church sales. So I don't know of any in Rhode Island. I know they have them in Mass. I don't think they have many here in Rhode Island though.
Yeah, I know. I would love, like when I grew up on the East Coast, I remember going to like fill a bag sales. And I never see fill a bag sales here. I mean, it's so, I've never been to one out here, but I know they happen, and you can fill up like a grocery bag full of clothes for $1 or something.
So Lori's saying it's an entire neighborhood sale.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you can like, there's more people out in one spot, less pressure. You can like walk from house to house. There's kids out. It's a super nice community experience. I love it.
Usually a block sale, bigger houses, so less pressure, higher possibility of finding something. Also, church rummage sales can be great.
Church rummage that's the best. There's just not that many, but I would drop everything for a church rummage sale for sure. They're usually so good.
Yeah, I've never been to that. That's one that's on my list that I'd like to do. No, Lori, I've never been to a rummage sale. I don't know of any that are around here. Yeah.
I love this. I cannot wait. You are going to have to message me right away when you go to your first yard sale or rummage sale and be like, here's my experience. But you can't just go to one because it could be the best thing or the worst thing. It's like you have to give it a little bit of a try. Go to a few.
I guess I have to go to different areas.
And you got to bring money. Bring like $1 bills and change. Because you don't want to talk somebody into selling you something for like $1 and hand them a 50. You want to have like plenty of ones. It's awesome going with Torvald, my son, who's 8, because everybody gives them everything. They'll be like, oh, for you, that's free, honey. Or they'll be like 25 cents for his whole box of stuff. He loves to buy electronics, just random, junk that he can fiddle with. Right. But he is so fun. They always love him at the yard sales. So how far are you from Lori?
We're going in the fall. Okay, is that when they happen? I don't know. That's fine. We can go in the fall. Lori and I are about 45 minutes away from each other. So we're not that far, I live in Rhode Island. Everything's about 40 minutes away from me. Nothing's that far from me. So yeah, we're close. We're close.
You can make a day of it, like a thrifting day or something like that.
That is what we did back in January. We went up to Maine together. So that was fun. We went to the bins up at Maine, and that was a drive, but it was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And that's the kind of the perks, I guess, of being on the East Coast is that everything is so close that I can drive 2 hours and be in another state and thrift somewhere completely different. And hi, Lori.
Hi, Ellen. So good to see you. Yeah, we're going to finish up in probably like 5 minutes or so. I got to get some dinner.
Yes.
I got to get some dinner going.
Get that Torvald off that Minecraft.
I know. I know. It's so hard right now, you guys. It's like, I try to like balance everything out. Like we take a bike ride. He does chores. He gets a little screen time. We do some homeschooling. So I have like these blocks and then I just repeat them. Yeah. So, but he's definitely getting more screen time than he ever has.
You're now a certified teacher. So put that on your resume.
Man.
I know it's rough. Oh, wrong one. I meant to click this one. How are your new shipping policies coming along? Heidi, so this is in reference to eBay. So I've started to implement what we talked about, and
fill us in because we don't know what you guys talked about.
So on the podcast, Heidi came on. Sorry, Lori's on my brain. Heidi came on and talked all about eBay and how to ship on eBay and all the ins and outs of shipping and the postal service and how that works and the zoning, like things that I didn't know about. And it was really intriguing, and she gave me some different resources to kind of look into. I can't say that I've implemented everything that we talked about, but I've definitely gotten better with weighing my items and knowing what it is going into it instead of weighing afterwards. And I was kind of guessing, you know what I mean, instead of doing it up front. So I've definitely done that. eBay's fun to me. It's like an experiment because it's not my main platform. So I just kind of like wing it, and then if things happen, they happen. If not, well,
I love that. And you know what? That is so helpful because so many people are intimidated by eBay. I started on eBay and I've been doing it so long that most people say, oh, it seems hard or intimidating. It's like, oh, I just know it because I've done it so long. But God, that would be so helpful for everybody to listen to. I'm going to send them that way when they ask me questions about eBay shipping, because I think that's the most intimidating thing for people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been selling long enough where I just put an item in my hand and I'm like 8 ounces, 12 ounces. Like I don't weigh anything anymore. But when you're starting out in the beginning, that's a really good tip.
Yeah, so Heidi was on one of the Coffee Talk episodes. So it's on the Thrifters Villa podcast. And I know some people like Lori Owens just said that she learned a ton when she listened to the podcast with Heidi. And I did too. It's like an hour and a half, but it's just full of knowledge. And if you have no experience with eBay shipping, you're not comfortable with it, it was really good. It was a good breakdown. So
that's awesome.
Definitely a good resource there.
That is so great. Yeah, that's the scary part of eBay, I think. Well, there's a lot of things, but I like your attitude.
Scares
Go
me.
on.
It's, you know what scares me the most is the shipping. That's really and the fees, because I didn't understand the fees at first.
Yeah.
But then now that I have a subscription, like I get it now. It makes more sense to me now. But in the beginning it didn't. And I sold on eBay, but I'm talking like when I was much younger and it was a very different process than what it is now.
And I think it's like, I like your attitude of just, I'm allowing myself to try it and figure it out and just like roll with it and start out small and learn as I go. That's the way, and then after a little while, you're like, oh, I get it now. Okay. I can see why it was challenging, but now I've got it. And then you have this whole other platform that has so many potential buyers.
I know.
I mean, if I relied just on Poshmark for my sales, I'd be better at selling on Poshmark. But I mean, I've been on Poshmark 2 years. And I've definitely increased my sales a lot, but still eBay blows Poshmark out of the water. Because I had my first month in May where it was like the first time Poshmark was close enough to eBay or something. It was like $500 difference. And I was like, wow, it's coming along.
But to me, the last few months has been great. Like but I'm also posting different things on there. I'm posting hard goods. I'm posting different things. So I have different buyers coming into my store, but now that Poshmark has changed their rules and they're allowing some of the same stuff, it's going to be interesting to see how that all goes.
Are you cross-posting?
Yes. But so I look on Poshmark and then cross-post to eBay, which is really dumb. I should really do it on eBay and then cross-post it to Poshmark.
It would just be not dumb. It would just be easier. It'd be so much easier because you fill it all out already and then it's there for you, but you're doing it a harder way.
It's just habit.
It's habit. Yeah.
That's all it is. Hope, I would absolutely like to have a slumber party. Yes, we can absolutely have a slumber party.
An adult slumber party?
A reseller slumber party. It'd be fun. It would be fun. All right,
I was just thanking everybody for coming on. We've been talking for 46 minutes already.
I know.
And these lives go by so quick.
They do. Well, it's just talking to a friend, right?
No, but that's you and your attitude. You have the best attitude. You're just like, relaxed.
Have to be. There's too many crazy things that go on in this world. I can't be on edge all the time. My job alone is high stress. So this is just my Zen time. I get to hang out, talk. I get to, Quenby and I talk all the time on Instagram, but this is our first time sitting down, actually having a conversation with each other, which is really fun.
I know. And I said to her, as soon as we got on, I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like you're my friend already. Like, I already know you, but we've never actually had like a face-to-face talk. It's been all social media. You've come to my live, so we've got to talk there. Mm-hmm. And I've found you on Instagram and I've listened to your podcast, but it's the first time face-to-face. I love it. I want to do more lives with people now that I've got a hang of it. You are like a total natural, easy for you. Some people really struggle with it, so you've got to do more.
I will. I'll do more. I'll put it on my schedule at some point in time. Maybe I'll do it once a month to start so I don't overwhelm myself.
Yep, totally. Do what works, but it's so great. And I love it because I get to interact a little bit more with people in the comments, more so than just recording a video and editing the video and putting it out there.
I know. And I'm probably putting out a video this week. I think I'm actually going to do it this week. I just haven't had the time and I haven't been feeling great. And I just didn't feel like it, So I didn't do it. If I didn't feel like it, why do it if I don't feel like it?
Isn't that so great about being an adult and running your own business? Mm-hmm. It's not like you have a boss being like, hey, where's your YouTube video? It's like you can do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. When you feel great, you can get a ton of work done. When you're not feeling so hot, you do a little bit less. I mean, it's so great.
It is. And it's just good for mental health, too. All right, Quenby, I know you need to go.
I could talk to you guys forever. I just have to make dinner for my son and do all that lifey stuff. It's only 5:50 here now.
I know.
So it's like we're just going into dinner.
50 here. So
I know, like it's all dark on yours and I'm all light still. It's like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it was like 87 here today too, but it was humid, so it's not the same.
Not the same. No. Thank you so much for having me on. I got to meet some new people. I hope some of you will come find me. I'm over at The Grateful Queen on YouTube, and we go live there every Friday, and a lot of the same people in the chat that you see here now make it over, and it's super fun. I'd love to see you over there, and I want to do this with you again. This is so easy and great.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Hit me up anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. I mean, you are a great guest for my first live.
I could just talk.
Nice. It's great.
Thank you guys in the chat for coming. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
So if you just hit the end, it'll close for them, but we can do a post wrap up. Thanks, Leslie and Lori.
Bye, everyone. Okay. All right.